Hey guys, Brian Beeler coming to you from the Storage Review Lab. Today we're going on a little walk down the lane of nostalgia, and as you can see here I've got an Xbox One. This is the original launch edition version that came with that oh so expensive and useless Kinect camera guy and a controller that has long since died in our household that said Launch Day Edition. That's what you get to pay the extra premium for when you go after these things on day one. Sadly, this system has been retired from our home. I've got two boys at home, and as many of you I'm sure have experienced during these tumultuous times, that Xbox or PS4 or whatever you got going in gaming rigs in your household is the lifeblood of sanity in said household. And in our household that means an Xbox for each kid. The littler kid was operating on this one because, you know, the teenager needs the faster, better one. I don't know, but it's become unresponsive, and so I went down the task of figuring out if this could be salvaged. One of those things dealt with fan access and dust and such piling up on this thing because it was overheating and dying every few minutes, and we took it apart. We did everything we could do to salvage it. Haven't been able to do that, haven't been able to get it operational, but what I do want to do is get I almost said SSD, the hard drive out of the inside of this, and we're going to do another video on that where we look at hard drive recycling. But I just thought, since we're going to do it anyway, why not capture it on camera, talk about the process a little bit and the capabilities. It's also interesting because we're oh so close to the next Xbox launch later this year that's going to have an NVMe SSD inside, and so I just wanted to think about what we had, what was top of the line when this thing was built back in 13, I think it was, and then what's going to be coming in the next generation of gaming consoles from a storage perspective. So we've started the teardown on this already, as I said, and that starts with removing this side panel, and then this pinchy guy is such a pain in the butt to pull apart. Hey Kevin, you got that spudger, buddy? All right, well, let's see if we can't get this case off. That was easy. All right, so we've liberated our hard drive from the system. This one in particular is a Samsung Momentus. And to give it some credit, it's stuck around, and the drive itself isn't our problem, or I don't think it's our problem. We're going to hook it up to the test system and see what its performance profile is these days, just to continue our trip down memory lane. All right, so we extracted the hard drive as you saw, and it turns out that this is actually a popular hard drive back in the day. Seagate picked up Samsung's hard drive business, and back then Samsung SpinPoint drives were really great 2.5-inch drives, and it shows. I mean, this guy's still running, and we're 8 years on or so. This is a SpinPoint M8, which was a very popular one, as I noted, ST500 LM012, and also carries the Seagate Momentus branding. So we went ahead and plugged it into a system to get a feel for the life of the drive, and as you can see, the power on hours is a pretty hefty number at right around 8,000 almost, so a decent run for an Xbox drive, and 87,000 power on cycle count. Of course, it's a 500 gig drive, 5,400 RPM, which means that it's going to be relatively terrible. And let's see, reallocated sector count, pretty reasonable. So overall, drive is good. It's lived a decent life and continues to operate, which is pretty cool. So we'll fire up Crystal Disk Mark, and then we're going to drop down to a 1 gig file, else we will be here forever, as the aforementioned 5,400 RPM drive would take forever. So I can't wait to actually see how this comes out. We'll probably skip forward a little bit so that we don't all have to sit there and watch the pain. And here we go, numbers coming in. Wow, 90 megabytes per second read. That's actually not that bad. Now, if we consider what's going to be happening in the new consoles, where they'll be using NVMe SSDs, and maybe the rumors are that perhaps the PS5 will be using Gen 4 SSDs. So the read-write profile on these new gaming consoles is going to be pretty sick. We've got some right numbers coming back in. 89 again. Gosh, I can't tell you how impressed I am with this drive to be able to still this long, and the consistent whining that happens in our household over Xbox games and that sort of thing. Normally you would figure whining would cause a decline in the read-write performance of a hard drive, but no, it doesn't. I can't tell you, this Xbox has been used in so many punishments, timeouts. It's been the banhammer target of so many issues, but yet the drive soldiers on at nearly 90 megabytes per second read and write. Otherwise, I mean, you look at the 4K stuff, it's pretty pitiful. IOPS is laughingly low at in the hundreds. So there you have it. Overall, great drive. Still works, even though the Xbox has failed. The hard drive is still standing. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had fun with this, and we'll be back soon with new videos.